So, everything working? Yeah. Hello there, everybody. Let's get this started, shall we? So, tonight I'm going to build my Tribalist. I wanted to build this the other night already, but it was a little bit late, and therefore I didn't catch the opportunity. But tonight we're going to build a Tribalist just in a minute when I have done my preparations. Okay, now we're here. Let's get started. So, after yesterday, I fired up a little Hell Knight prototype. I just threw these Zura together, and I didn't have 6 that made sense, but, well, super squishy, but makes mob groups just explode super fast. Hey Joe, welcome! How are you? I hope you had a nice day. So, let's see. Menagerie groups. Assign a new group here. Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. Hey Jorin, welcome, and wow, nice to see you all. So, I already mentioned it, the Tribalist will be upon us, but I wanted to show you what the Hell Knight does. It was quite funny. It doesn't work at my realm depth right now because I get randomly one shot, sadly. But this ain't no robust combo. But before we get into the Tribalist, I wanted to show you that little brilliant thing. It's so awesome. The fight just starts. One guy dies, everything else dies because they kind of like do an explosion effect once they kill something, and it's quite nice. Very simple, very straightforward. But sadly it gets, like you see here, the first guy just gets one shot. As soon as something like damage reflection shows up, these fish, they have really nasty damage reflection. They excel at reflecting damage back. You just saw what happened. So, and when this matches your team's level, basically, the success felt really random, and I didn't like it. But I think it's sure a pretty nice way to grind out lower levels and clear it out really fast. I said clear it out really fast. Okay. Some of these critters are just super tanky sometimes. I mean, the thing is, there are so many different interactions that are happening every time on the board, and your combos are actually weak to something. And I'm so new to this game that I'm not actually able to understand why a certain combo works that well against me. Just getting there will take some time. But as you see here, as soon as one of these damage reflection fish shows up, the guy dealing the damage just annihilates himself. And ultimately, I realized that damage reflection might be one of the biggest weaknesses for the Hell Knight to suffer from. But they also cleave across the whole enemy team. So when they hit something, they hit everything. So the perks are, we have a chance of afflict burning. No, burning is increased by attack. My creatures take less damage the lower they go, but effectively they just explode. So it's not that useful as I thought. We cannot be dodged. We attack twice. We attack for 50% more damage. We cannot be scorned. This makes attacking impossible. We cast a Firestorm at the beginning of the fight, and Splashing and Savage is always there. Splashing deals to everybody, and Savage has a 100% crit chance. So, glass cannon build, basically. But I guess if I would be picking smarter with my creatures and pick towards sustain, I will yield better results. But I definitely wanted to try out an all Azura comp, and that's why well, it's not all Azura, because I only had a 6th one that buffed crit chance, and I felt like that was kind of obsolete in this situation, so I didn't pick it up. Still lacking so many things. Oh, confusion is also very dangerous. So this build really doesn't work. But let's get into the actual thing. Tribalist. It's Tribalist night. Maybe this would work better with a Tribalist. Who knows? Wait a sec. It even saved the creatures I used the last time? Really? Is that what I'm seeing here? It does. Oh, this game has so much quality of life. I appreciate that. I didn't expect it, actually. This is really cool. The game makes automatic presets for the stuff you played the last time. Here's my druid from yesterday. Neat. So I didn't need the menagerie group there. Cool. Okay, Tribalist. Definitely going to be fun. Let's think about the perks, and then we're going to pick creatures. That's the plan for today. First, pick the skin. I really love that you have evolving skins for every specialization. Okay. So later in the stream tonight I want to play some more Loop Hero as well, so I plan a switch later, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours, something in between, can't say yet. Definitely wanted to go for the Tribalist and have some fun with it and then swap into something, because it's Saturday night and I just want to chill out tonight with you friends, and I hope you will have some fun as well. So let's dip into the perks. Battalion. At the start of battle, your creatures gain a random buff for each creature that belongs to the same race. Cool. So my critters start with 6 buffs every fight. I don't even know what that word means. Never seen that, okay. It does more damage against the own class. Okay, Chaos deals more damage against Chaos and so on. Familiarity. We take less damage from enemies from our own class. Feign Death. We have a chance to be resurrected of 10% per creature of the same race. So if somebody dies, we get to roll 5 times for that thing to trigger. Sick. This is hard to kill stuff. This perk is really, really good. I want to have it. There's no way that I don't want to have this. Auto-resurrect. Nice. Who wouldn't want that? No matter what I pick. Even critters that, well, no, there's no way I wouldn't want that. Fluster. Creatures have independent 5% chance to dodge attacks. That's 30% dodge. We take that. Pretty sure this is going to be a really good thing. Traits, spells, and other effects that are affected by the number of a certain race or class act as you have more. Yeah, that's a really nasty thing. So basically we can simulate a party of 9 if some trait is saying, like, for every unit, for every wasp you get an attack. So we could get 9 attacks instead of 6 attacks. It's pretty powerful. Harbinger. My spell gems with cast on properties have a greater chance to activate. Oh, that's nice. Automatic triggers of spell gems get enhanced. My creatures get more stats for critters of the same race. This is a no-brainer. Base stat increase is always good. There's no constellation where I wouldn't want to have higher base stats. Overwhelm. My creatures have an independent chance to deal critical damage. 30% flat crit. Well, I don't want to pick that right now, because I don't know how I'm going to deal damage yet. Purebred. So, same race, same class. Oh dear. So we will receive 30% from this and 30% from this. If we manage to pick same class, same race. Possible. Survival instincts. We take less damage and deal more damage for each dead creature that belongs to the same race. Ooh. This is also good. It does happen quite often that 1 or 2 critters on your formation are dead and stay a little bit dead. Ties that bind. Creatures deal additional damage with attacks and spells of your other creature's highest. Okay. So my critters. That's a really interesting stat. That means they buff each other. The highest, the strongest buffs the rest. It's a cool thing. Transformation. At the start of battle, your creatures cast their Morph Spells if they have one of these spells in their top. Zemtus, hi! Happy to see that you have found some time. Yeah, for me it's also, usually I don't stream at Saturdays and Sundays, but this week I'm going to make the first exception. I'm going to manage to make that exception a rule. Let's see. Morph Spells. Have to check out what Morph Spells actually do. Union. My critters grant... And that's a flat bonus. Everybody shares his highest stat to the other creatures. 10% of his highest stat. That's so cool. I definitely want to have that. We are a pack. At the start of battle, if you have at least 4 creatures that belong to the same race, the remaining creatures' races are changed to that race as well. Doesn't work on Imless though. So basically that means I just need to pick 4 of the same race. These are necessary, and then I can pick 2 of the same class to get the whole battery of bonuses. That's pretty cool. This adds a lot of versatility into the Tribalist. Okay. Let's check out the Morph Spells for a second. Is this a certain spell type or is it an add-on? Morph nature here. Your creatures gain a large amount of speed and their classes become nature until the end of battle. So this is one of the big enablers, I guess, to cheat around if you're new. I mean, that's one thing I wanted to point out about the Tribalist, that it's easy to mistake things. You can have a party of critters that don't share the same race but all the same class. So, like, Purebred would be a trait you can pick up with a early game strat. If you manage to just pick all nature creatures or all death creatures. For my Necromancer, for example, I had no trouble at all to get a working formation that was all death. And I think the same formation I used for my Necromancer would have been usable for the Tribalist as well. I mean, race is here definitely the bigger bonus. You would only get smaller bonuses from the class bonuses, but I think We Are Pack is also pretty nice there. But overall, I think the Tribalist is a pretty perk point and creature pool hungry class, but very simple in its skill synergies. Like, most of the perks are super easy to pick, to understand, and to utilize, I think. I had more trouble understanding the Inquisitor perks and how to utilize them correctly. Okay, now after we know all this, let's check out what kind of funky races we will pick. I want to have something that's really good at enhancing each other. I also take wishes or recommendations if you guys have really good ideas or something you'd like to see in action. I'm definitely willing to burn a few energy points on level ups which are not that smart. So, Apocalypses. No. Arachnolisks. No. I really want to have something that's utilizing the strength of the pack directly. Like Crypt Bats. After an ally attacks, this creature deals damage. Ifrits. Hey, no game, no life. Let's check out the Ifrits. Because there's just so much stuff that I'm always really happy to just get some idea and recommendation. After this creature defends or provokes, increases potency of burning. After an enemy takes damage from burning, deal damage. When an enemy's burning debuff expires or is removed. After this creature attacks a creature with burning. But I really would need to have some means to let the enemy burn in the first place. After this creature attacks, it afflicts the target with burning. Wildfire Ifrit is the thing. I feel like I would be missing out. Well, okay, I could take 4 Ifrit and just fill up with let's see. Let's check out if this if I have the necessary resources for that. Let's go for class. We would need sorcery. Is there something which can inflict burning? Because I really feel like I would need some good source for burning. The other option would be to check out if I have creatures I could fuse into. We can definitely make this work. We can definitely make this work somehow. But checking out the magical critters as a next step is definitely a thing. Let's try out an Ifrit Tribalist for now. Although I think the Ifrits are also super powerful for the, what's it called again? Pyromancer, which I'm unlocking right now, so it's a win-win situation if I go for that now. If you defeat the Ifrit Master, you get the trait every time you apply burn, increase the potency of burn. Oh, wait a sec. Those traits. I might be actually needing to do something else here, because here I got so many master skills by now. Thanks for the reminder. Let's see if I have the Ifrit one first. No, sadly not. Dang. Every time you apply burn, increase the potency of burn by 50%. That sounds so sick. Now you have stuck that in my mind. I'll delay that until I have that master. So, my angel's attacks apply debuffs. Apocalypses. My apocalypses act as if they take 2 turns at once. I feel like a master skill is a really good thing. That sounds like it does terrible damage, actually. Basilisks. What does Ents? First time your Ents are killed, they are resurrected. That's boring. Centaurs. I don't think I have that many centaurs, but Waspits. Let's see. Let's check out the Waspits. It's so difficult to do a decision here sometimes with this game. So I do have a whole deck of Waspits here. So with the master trait, my Waspits would all get Final Sting. After this creature attacks, it is killed. Okay, but it deals 300 damage, 300% damage, and Swarm. Your Waspits each have a 4% chance to start at the top of the timeline for each Waspit. I'm not a big fan. Not my approach. Good thing that you mentioned the Masters no game, no life. It would have been so sad to forget that. Alright, let's keep going. My unicorns attack 2 additional times. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. If you have wishes, please feel free to. The Ifrits, I will do that with my Pyromancer. I feel like if we go Burny Burn, then go with a Pyromancer. How about that? I'll do a stream about that as well. Because I'm right now unlocking the Pyro in the background. My Spectres decrease enemies' stats more. Shadows, Seraphs, Reapers. Okay, Reapers feature some insta-kill stuff. Yeah, exactly. If Burny Burn, then go crazy with it. Priests. If all the creatures in your party belong to the priest race, their innate traits activate an additional time. Wait a sec, how many priests I got? This could be silly and fun. Priests all buff their stats on each other. This could be really straightforward and stupidly strong. Let's see. S. Still S. Priest. I got 5 different priests. That's good enough. This makes a party. Attack buffer, speed buffer, defense buffer, debuff remover, and intelligence. The only thing I don't know is I'm able to summon them twice. I haven't understood yet what the factor is, if you can or can't. Like, why can't I summon them sometimes more times? Do I consume knowledge with summoning them? That's something I really haven't understood fully yet. But let's summon those priests. This, if I'm not doing this now, I'm going to do this the other day, and I definitely want to have that option because it sounds so... No, you can't. I can't summon a creature twice, basically. That's the gist of it. Ah, I need to kill one. Okay, I need to collect them again, basically. That's what you're saying, right? Alrighty. I think that's how it's supposed to work. Okay, so since I don't have 6 priests, that trade dream is not happening right now, but it will happen. Let's put them into the stash for now. This will be fun one day, but sadly not. If you have sea knowledge on a mon, you can summon it on the candle. Right, that's a good reminder. Let's see what knowledge I do have on the priests. The divination candle is so awesome. This is one of the most versatile things. I am actually already considering doing a video about it. How you can do so many things with that. You can farm cards with it, you can farm easier resources with it, or you can summon it because you want to summon it again, which is another usage I haven't come up with yet. My gripe with Tribalist is that you end with a lot of monsters with the same element. Yeah, that's pretty much the thing. I guess you could also call it a weakness of the class. Do the priest traits stack? Let's check it out. If so, fusing them would do really crazy things. So... it should. Usually if traits don't stack, it definitely says it so. So you really could augment this build in a crazy way. Because if you start fusing several priests into each other, they get that double. If we forge that into... If we forge the priest trait into the artifacts, we can triple that. I love this game. You can do such funny things. We have to collect them all. Okay, the hunt for priests is on, but it's going to take a while. But you know, you need goals in life. To have fun, you need goals in life. So, Master of Priests. Come into town one day. Master of Plague Doctors. They gain the Drained trait. Okay, sometimes I wish these things could just tell me what this trait does. This would be really great for the future versions of the game, because right now I'm interested, but I'm not up to looking it up right now. Imlings. Your Imlers and Imlings take less damage for each Imler fighting on your side. Straightforward but powerful, because Imlers tend to be a little bit squishy. They have the synergy of squishy units and super tanky guys that absorb damage for the squishy units. Master of Harpies. After an enemy attacks, your harpies attack a random enemy for 20% normal damage. That sounds fun too. This wouldn't need me to have exclusively harpies as well. Master of Gorgons. Your Gorgons deal more damage to enemies with stone. Oh, okay. For each Gorgon. So 6 times, 180. 210% more damage on stone enemies. That's pretty powerful. Gargoyles cast a chaos spell. All gargoyles gain attack. Okay. I don't think that would fit well into a Tribalist build. My fiends with Berserk have a chance to avoid damage. Ooh, sexy. I have a own dodge trait. Master of Ents. That's boring. We already know that. My centaurs attacks deal 20% more damage and have an independent chance to deal critical damage for each centaur. Ooh, I think the damage amplification was working as well. That hits like a truck. Basilisks. If all the creatures are basilisks, they have a chance to avoid damage. My innate traits have a 25% chance if... I looked that up the other day. So... Okay, angels don't sound too tasty either. So I'm pretty biased toward either harpies, imlings, or... well, harpies or imlings, basically. Sounded like some war priests, but we're not there yet. Or unicorns. Okay. Let's try out if I have the necessary unicorn power. I really love how much time I spend every time I try to build up something new here. So we got 5 unicorns at least. And an ally would die from... okay. Lethal damage gets diverted to this guy. Healing when attack, after this creature attacks. With Efts. Is this Ifrits, or is there a creature actually named Efts? Oh, God. Ooh, with a Unicorn Stormbringer, this is actually a thing, because they buff their stats quite hard. From the Hunter God, you unlock them with tokens. Oh, that's I would go with priests because you confuse them together. Yeah, but I need to prepare that a little bit. Well, and the master trait only triggers if the whole party is priests, and right now I have only 5 priests. Okay, I could leave the last spot open. Yeah, let's do this. Actually, I'm down for that. I could leave just the last spot open. This is a little bit odd. Usually I don't do that, but seriously, with that trait, they are definitely going to be super strong, even as a party of 5. I just figured that we really don't need to not use this combo because of that. Just won't be able to go into the deepest dungeon levels yet, but I really need to do something battle text. I need to... stat gains need to be turned off, because if I let these inside, I won't be doing any combat anytime too soon. Now, let's see. I don't have enough brimstone for all my projects right now, but let's just take a weapon that has a trait slot. Here, this one looks good. I can't unsocket things later. Just move and destroy. No. Wait a sec. So I really should think twice about that. We're going to use an empty artifact for that, because I just realized that I won't be able to remove that one. So let's take a sword. Let's take this one. That's good. Just No, again, the decoration menu. I really feel like the decoration mode shouldn't be the first thing in the main menu. Especially if you enter it, you can't leave it with Q. It's the only menu in the game which can't be left, which can't be abandoned with Q. It's something I really hope which will be changed in future versions, because it really feels off to me. So, priests. Let's do this. Equip artifact. List of priests. Okay. But I forgot to unequip the other artifacts. I got so many useless artifact dummies because I accidentally created some. Okay. Let's just equip the few things that I got. One day I really need to spend some time and convert some resources into something else, but I didn't really feel like that for now. So I'm pretty sure I don't have any Efts in my collection than Hyorin, because I haven't picked up any of them yet. So let's perk it out. Battalion buffed. Sounds great. Buffs are super strong. Cogence. No, let's familiarity. Take less damage. No. Traits, spells, and other effects that are affected by the number. No, we don't need that. Harbinger, we are not using that either. The crit thing, I definitely want to have that. The dead critter thing. The highest stat share. That's one thing I think that that will be working with the priests insanely well. Transformation, no. Okay. That one is pretty good if somebody should die. And I'd say beyond that, we're going to pick familiarity, because it is a pretty hefty damage reduction skill. And the rest flows into here. The Efts, I have no clue. We're going to take a little trip into the Hunter's God's realm here. That's a blood grove, right? And let's check this out here. I don't have enough emblems. I haven't seen one of them yet. So after one of your Efts attack, all of your Efts recover health. After this creature attacks, it decreases the target's attack by 10% for each Eft. Okay. The first boss was one. Okay, that's fun. Alright, let's go for the crazy stuff there. And check out how it works. So... okay, looking good. Let's check out the stats this turn. Wait a sec. So, how does this work again? At the start of this creature's turn, it increases defense. Yeah. I guess this whole build will go crazy the moment I start fusing more priests into this badge. I mean, the real cool thing about it is this one guy makes it happen that we remove debuffs as well while we're fighting, by fighting, and this is really powerful because debuffs are one of the most... well, if I die, most of the times I die because of debuffs. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I have ignored some confusion or some blight or something. In the reviews, there was this guy complaining that the stats of his fused monsters went down by a lot. Well, you have to be careful about their personalities. Your creatures have different personality traits, and you have to take care that you fuse the traits that you want to have. If I remember correctly, you acquire the trait of the second creature. I'm not sure if you keep the but I think while fusing, you pick up the trait of the fused creature and the personality trait of the fused creature as well. to make it more of a pain to find the right fit, because the stats are averaged between two parents. Oh, thank you, my friend. I didn't experiment too much with the fusing system as of now, because in Siralim 3, the monster fusing system was really, really hard to be used, and was quite brutal to get deeper into it. It really demanded a lot of brain wrangling. Yeah, so both the parent and the fusing partners should be equal level, basically, as a rule of thumb. So, let's see. Yeah, that's a lot more than before. And look at the attack stats. Okay, maybe these are already super strong as a party of 5, who knows? Because this sure looks pretty strong. Holy moly. Well, on my beginner's tutorial I had this guy complaining that I recommended the Druid and the Tribalist as good starter classes because they are it takes so long for their traits to really shine into the game, and it really made me think quite hard about this sentiment. I mean, it's right, these classes really need some resources to get going, but I felt like they had one of the simplest mechanics to work around, basically. Because I checked out a lot of the other classes and they really felt like with the Tribalist, you know, at least instantly pick the same class / element and pick the same race and go crazy. And compared to spellcaster classes, I feel like this is pretty straightforward. And the Druid even is like, you only need to worry about 3 traits. Pick 3 of them that work well together. But some experienced players seem to be heavily disagreeing on that, because I had... Well, the video receives a lot of bad reviews, and as far as I can say, the only thing that a lot of people seem to be... I don't know. I'm really confused about that one. Because I always want to share valuable information, and I was wondering if I'm that brutally wrong here, you know? I'm not arrogant about that department, but if I share something wrong, I like to correct it. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. Alright. But so far, level 70 dungeon, no problem. We're shuffling through here in like a breeze. I'll have to agree that the Tribalist is not the best to start out with. Well, I made the experience that all the classes are basically not doing too much for you until you have beaten the base game. Like, I have finished the game with a Necromancer only to realize that nothing about my creature combo that I was playing had anything to do with the Necromancer class. Nothing. At the end of my Necromancer tour, I was like, well, I could have picked anything else and used its traits somehow, and it would have worked as well. Well, I am considering a retake because, well, I don't know. It's really bothering me a little bit. Because I really love this game and I don't want to share wrong information. That's really important to me. Anywho, enough of that. Here's the divination candle we're talking about. So, oh yeah, I want to summon a few Azura. Why not? I've summoned them the other occasion. The divination candle does also do a really nice thing by spawning a identical squad of enemies, and that really makes the fight go quite easy. Yeah, well, that's something I can't argue about. That's definitely something I can't argue about. But I feel like at the point where you can actually start spending perk points, it should be really not too much of a problem to pick a combo with at least the same element to reap some rewards, because you won't be having too many perk points anyways. I mean, the easiest way to find out would be to try it myself, I guess. Yes, there are perks that work on the same class, like the survival, the purebred trait you can use from beginning, where you can get a text in the right. No, there's class and there's race. Class is the element and race is the actual race, and purebred works on the class. And if you use We Are Pack, you can pick 4 creatures of the same race, and then the other 2 need to be just the same element, and then they count as that race as well. So you can actually go into the Tribalist game earlier with those, and that's only 200 trait points. So the first 200 trait points are a little bit of a progression curve, and then you can already flesh out your team a little bit. And after that, if you have really picked up some, yeah, you do need to grind a little bit more, but I think it's not that bad as it looks like. Maybe I'm going to try it out someday soon, I don't know. On the other hand, a lot of people seem to be really bothered about the right and wrong question in general in life, so maybe it's just that, I don't know. There's always the option of grinding favor in an early realm and buying a bunch of creatures. Exactly, Ceaseless. Very good point. Very, very good point. So there are options, and I gotta admit, I had to do a lot of grind with my Necromancer as well in between, especially between the realm, between the critter levels of 60 to 100. I did a lot of grind to get to the power level I needed to punch through the bosses, because I discovered at some point most bosses are just DPS checks and stat checks. So if you level out your critters far enough, if they have somewhat working, somewhat synergizing traits, they punch through the enemies even though your traits are not that well. And I feel like the basic traits of the Tribalist can be used quite well in this department, and even 3 creatures of the same race in your formation already start to pack that oomph. And you know, it's not that powerful as that stuff like I'm doing it right now from the scratch, but I feel like to a beginner player, grasping stuff like that must feel already pretty rewarding. At least that was what I imagined, but obviously people like to disagree, but that's okay. Shared opinions, mixed opinions are good. Now, we got the clothes the stone demanded, and now let's do... No, I have the Reaver unlocked. Let's see what next unlock we're going to do. I do already have the Defiler running. Are using Sphinx traits. No, but thanks for the recommendation. I'll check them out. Spellweaver, Warden. Oh man, always so hard to decide. I want to study the Cleric as well. Sphinx. STSP. Is that a race, or am I missing something right now? Is that a race, Iseros? Ah. Now I get what you mean. And do you know what map that was? Yeah. Barons. Okay. Whoop. the Barons? Well, let's check them out. I mean, let's see, isn't this also the home of the priests? No, okay. Let's try this out. I want to check out what this is. Also, this is right now my deepest realm level because I felt ballsy. Definitely wanted to check it out. Yeah, they can't even pierce the defenses here. That's what I expected that might happen. I mean, these critters are constantly stat boosting themselves every friggin' turn. Twice. So, let's see. Sphinx Avenger. After your creatures die, they have a... for its own class. Yeah. Thanks for that recommendation. We'll go big on the Tribalist. I feel like the Tribalist is a very, very fun class. And I answered that guy who went over my recommendation also that I feel like with this game, it's really important to pick something which fascinates you, something you want to play, even if it takes a while to make it work. This game is so overwhelmingly complex and deep. I felt like having a red line you can follow would be a really good thing, because, like I said, it's really the best way to play it is to play something you really want to make work. The Sphinxes all have similar traits that revolve around stacking creatures of the same class. Yeah, so they're basically an expansion of my traits, which is awesome. Which is really, really awesome. This adds another layer into this formation, which will be crazy. Because I don't know how important the further stat stacking will be. I mean, this is already working out super crazy. What I love about this game is that it's going to be almost impossible to do the best combination, because there's just too many variables. I've unlocked a new costume, the Swashbuckler costume. Yay, rare drop! I mean, sure, there are obviously better things than other ideas, but
very personal.
Ooh, thanks for the sub, Joe. Thank you so much for being so kind, and welcome to the channel, Ceaseless. That's really, really making me happy to see you here. No problem, he just says. I'll answer that just with a silent smile. Alright, so it looks like the Tribalist is a lot stronger than my Druid approach, but I also felt like yesterday I took a pretty horrible approach with the Druid. It didn't feel too powerful at all. Although it was an interesting idea, but I think stat draining is something I should try with a specialization that's actually revolving around stat draining. I think with the Druid I should try to do something gargantuan. Some creatures that are already revolving around being massive on their own. I don't know. Giants? I don't know. Druid is really hard for me to grasp what kind of creatures you're supposed to work with as the pillars of the formation. I mean, sure, you can pretty much pick anything and make it super strong as a party of 3. It's pretty fun, but it's also not that easy to pick up if you want to do something really good with it. Basically, the Druid felt more complex and demanding the more choices I had. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I really miss some sort of AoE with these priesties, though. They seem to be a little bit too much single target focused. But then again, if you have almost invulnerable units, let's see how the stats look like right now. Quite low. How so? Do they have stat stealers? Ah, the Nyx imposter. There's always a solution to your problem. I think AoE has to come mostly from spell gems. Yeah, well, Scorn. So can we gain stats now again? see. Yeah, we can. As soon as the Nyx guy is dead, we can. So this unit is basically the hard counter to my formation. Just when I was feeling big, I was exactly feeling big when I was facing my nemesis. Okay, the Siralim Zaraf is casting Resurrections and getting on my nerves. I really love that trait, which makes creatures the only resurrectable ones per fight. Okay. Well, the thing with spell gems is, you know, I would need the arcane trait in some way, because where we have it, Codex. Because without the arcane trait, you will have some serious trouble with sustaining spellcasting during an entire dungeon. And the other thing is, I don't like builds that have too much manual aiming and manual input during a fight. Well, I could go for macros though. I think with a spell, if I want to set up a team of spellcasters, I will program myself some macros for that. Have I unlocked runes? Runes. I don't know. And since I say I don't know, most likely not. Or I just forgot. Untitled Zaraf. Yeah, that's the guy I'm just bashing. Could also consider using the generous trait, which will give all your other creatures a single charge. Oh yeah. That's also a nice one. Yeah, I've seen that. Oh man, I hate Scorn. Scorn is one of the most annoying traits. Debuffs. Things I unlock with Piety. Oh yeah, I have already unlocked them, but I suffered from information overload and skipped it until later. Ever since then I'm collecting Piety and have delayed that topic because I wasn't ready for that layer yet. That's what happened there to me. Ooh, what's here? Greetings and hellos to you. What class does the Bloodfang Gargoyle belong to? Ooh, nice. That sounds really good. Chests. Torun rules over this one. These game tickets I haven't tried out yet. I really want to check out the runes. It's a good idea. The Holy Protection sounds like life. And Epocranox. Sanctum Umbra? No, Bloodgrove. Epocranox is one of the newer gods. I don't know him yet. So I want to find the master of this level. Thanks for all your recommendations, my friends. It's really helpful for me because this game has so much content. It's really hard to stay on track with all this stuff. Relics, okay. Runes were in Siralim 3. Stuff you could use on your character, right? But to be honest, if you would have called them relics, I wouldn't have understood it either. I mean, the cool thing about this game is basically once you have finished the main story, you have finished the tutorial. Basically. Darius. Oh, Diabolic Hordes. So cool. I have noticed them yesterday. Diabolic Hordes are perhaps the most cooperative of any creature in all Rhodia. They encourage and empower one another with only one goal in mind. Yeah. So, let's see. Yeah, there. Exactly. Diabolic Horde have 10% more attack for each Diabolic Horde. Oh yeah. Now I will gain the master trait for these. This could be really another thing. I feel like it's what you used in Siralim 3. Cool. Well, I really feel like the Tribalist should work with a lot of different specializations. Not specializations, teams. I feel like there's a lot of different strategies that should work out. So, wow, they're really beefy. The real problem here is that my critters have no sustain at all. They won't win this fight, I tells you. Or wait a sec, we do have random resurrects though. But these guys do have so much HP. Let's check out who's start. Alright. I gotta check out which one is this guy. They have so many HP. 55k each. So each of them is that beefy. But at the same time, I mean, we're also growing more and more beefy, but I think this is the guy I should go for, because I don't know if his buff is wearing out as soon as they die. I highly doubt it, though. The reason was that I haven't had 6 priests at that point, and I'm using the Master of Priests trait, which will only work if I have only priests, and therefore that's the reason. There's no good, that's poverty, that's the reason. But my stats are increasing after all. I mean, the thing is, theoretically, if we survive long enough, we should be able to tackle them because of a simple reason. They won't be able to... I'll outstat them at some point, because these guys... Is there a maximum for stat boosts in one fight, though? That's something I don't know. Because if not, this will snowball out of control at some point. Ah, here goes the Tribalist Resurrect. Ah, this time that didn't work. Let's see. No, it doesn't seem to really cap out at this point. They are diminishing returns. Ah, I see. I see. Well, this limits the power of this strategy. Definitely. What's that inner destruction spell, though? Why does it kill my critters directly? I have no clue. There's a way around that? Great. Yeah, well. That didn't work, but I gotta say this is possibly one of the hardest masters to beat. Just realized that this is really a extremely strong combo. Max is 1000 of base stats, then you start getting less and less. I think 1000 is enough. I think so too. So let's see. What happens if the centerpiece of their formation falls? I hope I'll survive long enough to do this. Man, these taunts are really brutal. So I either rolled really unlucky, or that resurrection trait is not as powerful as it looks like. Oh no, they all pulled Leech. Oh well, Leech is only as powerful as the damage you deal. So, Inner Destruction is a spell that cast takes moderated. Okay, so this shouldn't be the reason why my critters exploded. Yeah, no chance. They diverted every single attack from that guy, sadly. Well, I would have been surprised if I would have been able to do this just with that fun combo. All right, a little bit sad. But this also makes me think, what about my Diabolic Hordes? Just want to check. Are they, the Diabolics. I got 6 of them. Well... let's do it. I got beaten by it. It should be good. And this stream is also dedicated to different options of the Tribalist, so definitely should be an interesting thing to go for. I mean, I feel like I should be able to fuse the priests into the Diabolics if I really would want to. But I don't think that would be making sense. Because that trait only says other creatures. Yeah, it would work. It would actually work. So let's do a bunch of Diabolics. Why not? This sounds like fun. It just killed me. Let's do it. So, what do we have here? So, more health for each buddy, more speed for each buddy, more intelligence for each one, less damage for each one, more defense for each one, attack for... Okay. I'm not too surprised that this was really hard to tackle, honestly. Because this is all by itself already brutally strong, gotta say. Alright, let's go for something really straightforward. I'm really a little bit sad that I didn't pick the master trait there. This would have been really cool, but maybe next time. Who knows how long it'll take until next time, but that's just the price for it. It was my own decision to go down there without the necessary preparations. So I now don't have the perk that gives... The Forest Pact perk would be really, really good. But I don't want to reset all my perks right now, so we're just going to build it up across the way. So, Realm Depth 77 passed without the Master. It's my first time that I didn't fetch the Master. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit sad. Yeah, well, happens. Alright, now let's check out how the Diabolic Horde will work. Pretty sure it's going to be pretty strong. So let's check out what they... So mine aren't that big. But let's see. Damage is definitely higher, if you ask me. But they're also quite bland. These guys are just now pretty much stat balls, and that's it. Your third special monster. If you have access to the Clamorous Cockatrice, creature's traits, spells. Ooh, I think I do have that one. We're definitely going to add that. This is fun. This is definitely fun. Yeah, also Splash is definitely fun for these guys. There's another one that does the same thing but for classes rather than races. Yeah, since these guys are all the same class, we would receive a lot of extra bonuses. Add the Tribalist perk on top of that. We're going to have some good fun with that. Alrighty. Hi Cognito, welcome! Happy to see you. Really happy to see you. So if I understood it correctly, since I have solved the realm quest on the last level, I just miss this opportunity for the master fight. I won't be getting another chance. It's a little bit sad. Well, but it's the first time I lost against a master, and I felt like the Diabolic Horde master was one of the strongest I've encountered ever. The other masters were like a lot easier. Need to spend some more time in this game. That's easy. It's very easy to get lost in this. But it's also a very fun way of getting lost in something, so... Welcome. Feel welcome here. Alright. Oh, the riddle gnomes again. Oh. Okay, it's minigame time. No, I don't want to play minigames right now. Don't bother me. I want to grind. It's an enjoyable grind and you can always feel your growth. Yeah, that's something where this game really delivers super well. The only thing I feel like I would criticize as of now is that the deeper you dive into the game, the more complicated it feels to build something new. Like, if you have one really refined combo, it's easy to be like, oh man, I have no interest in doing that again, if you get my idea. This is the only thing that it can be quite exhausting if you are min-maxing too much, but well, I think that's also a personality thing. I hated that that Scorn forces me into defense. This is so annoying. No, I don't want to defend. Since I use the turbo mode, it's sometimes so hard to catch that moment when you're actually supposed to change the orders. I just captured another Ifrit. Alright. Skin feminine. Oh, I got a Azura skin. I used this to chill between factory sessions, enjoying the Necro. All the minions. Yeah, Necro is really cool. Thanks, Theodore. The thing is, I haven't programmed yet with macros because I haven't known about my needs yet. Because macros are cool, but you would need to know what kind of orders you want to macro. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna think about that a little bit more. Alright. But this is working out quite strong. I think I dare to go the next level too. I think this is way stronger than the priests. The priests were, well, doing kind of like the same thing, but the Diabolic Horde gets a sick head start compared to the priests, whereas the priests have kind of like more potential. But the potential wasn't enough, obviously. Come on, get out of invisibility, you. Oh man, I hate invisibility sometimes. Needs Dispel. This guy just keeps spellcasting stuff. Seriously, just extending invisibility? Are you trying to bore me to death, you? Monsters' spell gems will run out at some point, right? Or has that thing endless spell gem? So, that's the problem here. But as far as can I kill that? I mean, at some point it should stop casting spells and attack me, but how's that supposed to be killed? Honestly. Keeps casting stuff right now. But I really don't understand what to do here. Anybody got a good idea? Will this thing eventually stop casting Dark Tranquilities? Doesn't look like it does. No, I have not equipped any spells. This is the first time that an enemy... It will run out. Yeah, I got a loop. And there's pretty much nothing I can do against that. This guy keeps spamming the invisibility, even if he's... okay, never mind. It's come on! What's that? This is annoying. I need something with AoE. All creatures take a massive amount of damage. It's the first time ever that something like that happened to me, actually. Demonic Strike. Well, there's a trait for everything in this game. That's something I can already tell. The thing is, can I target something while it's invisible with a spell? Or does invisibility only shake off attacks? I'm not sure about that. Anybody knows? So it wouldn't be needing to tap out of this. If it's a spell that hits everything, but it needs to be something like that. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Yeah, in this scenario, here planets enemies take a large amount of damage. Here we go. That'll work. Let's just toss some planets at that guy. Yeah, well, since the invisibility was only triggering at 95%, it would have been not a problem there. So let's put the generous trait in that. Oh, I need to upgrade it first, okay. Let's do this. No, not craft. To enchant. Let's make it generous and % of potency based on attack. Why not? Since my critters have a lot of attack, this is definitely going to be a good one. So, who's my most intelligent of those? That's you. Have some planets, my dude. Also, I'm going to fetch myself some tea. Gonna be right back in a sec. I should pick my cup though. There we are. I hope my chair has entertained you well. Now, let's get into level 78 and see if we can tackle that. It should be no problem, though. Oh, I forgot to work on my projects. Dang. So there's a couple of spell jumps which I need to work on. Some stuff to hinder my enemies from being totally overbuffed and resurrect my stuff a little bit. And yeah. This map comes up quite often right now. And I only rolled it once at will. Here we go. Diabolic Spectator. I definitely want to pick up that cockatrice, or cockatrice, or however that's pronounced. I need to check that out the other day. I really want to try that, because that sounds like I could amplify my fighting power by a lot with that. I think this might be one of the most straightforward yet easy to play combos for the Tribalist. Because you can stack up a lot of different utilities now on that formation. It's basically right now I'm featuring a tank that can be modified with lots and lots of gadgets. Sphinxes are perhaps the most adaptive creatures Rhodia has to offer. They are able to change their class identity in the midst of battle to suit their needs, if their team isn't equally flexible. Flexibility is not really my power, no. Sounds like I would be facing a weakness here, so let's check this out. Your creatures have no longer a weakness. They have a chance to be resurrected. Enemies have less creature for each creature of his own class. Okay. We're massively debuffed here. Oh dear. Ain't looking good. Alright. Yes, this game is keyboard controlled. But honestly, I don't think that mouse controls would be that cool after all. So, Sphinx Zealot is the issue here. Or is it? I don't know. They all got lots of rebirth charges here. But looks like we're smashing them anyways. Just takes a while to take them down. These resurrects. Well, you can control it with one hand, yeah, but I really like to have the right hand for the arrow keys and the left hand for the actual controls. Your Sphinxes start the battles with rebirth. There we go. Hey Cake Freak, how's the evening going? Awesome. Lot better than the day. We had a little bit of a stressful day today. Well, the morning was great, the afternoon was a little bit stressful, but... Oh no, we're scoring again. Let's cast planets. Oh, that's quite powerful. I believe there's a hard limit of 15 revives per combat. Is there? Okay, cool. I mean, with a game like Siralim where you can stack things up like crazily, almost virtually infinitely, well, that's an over-exaggeration, but you get my idea. So, it does make sense. I think that potency based on attack thingy on those gems is working extremely strong for the Diabolic Hordes. Because they feature a lot of attack, and the attack amplifies the spellcast. Let's see. In combat, one of those guys has 2.8, 3.3. Okay. Understandable why this is rocking the boat quite hard. Nice. Unexpectedly nice. I haven't touched the spellcasting system of this game at all. Like, I have only... No, that's not quite true, but I have only used simple things like Dispel, Mass Dispel, and some some utility spells, but I haven't touched spellcasting for damage purposes. That's the proper wording. For damage purposes, I haven't touched spellcasting in this game at all. There's so much to discover. Yes, Graslius, I assume that they are quite powerful because of the things I'm seeing here right now. They scorned me, and then I discovered the power of planets. And that's just one spell I have barely modified. This generosity trait is cool. I really like that. One-shot nukes. Yeah, Carnifex, you're absolutely right about that. I wasn't aware of that. But there are a lot of ways to automate them. Yeah, exactly. These chance on attack things are really cool. I mean, basically, if I would be... Now, here's a question I'm asking myself. Yeah, no, the copies don't have any properties, so they are not even amplified. Only the parent spell has these amplifications. Sick. Okay. My hordes are just pretty good spellcasters, and I have underestimated that. Okay. Cool. Nice. Looks like oh, we're silenced. Looks like this is a really good progress build. I didn't expect to be that successful. It seems to have little to no weaknesses in this level area right now. It's just totally dominating the opposition. I wish they could find a way to make healing relevant. You're either too OP or the CPUs are too OP. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's, I mean, I was playing quite sustain-heavy combos, but I always felt like at that point where the CPU is able to one-shot your units, you basically lose the fight pretty much at the time. One-shot is basically one of the biggest threats that I've discovered. But I mean, the game also features a lot of ways to counteract that, like randomized resurrection chances and such. There are ways to work around that. Oh, I can't wait for my Defiler to be finished. So, 2 new specializations to select, because I unlocked the extra projects. So let's go for Evokers, because spellcasting sounded a lot more appealing to me. And let's see. I wanted to try out the Warden as well, because it seems to be a specialization which thrives on empowering buffs even more, and that sounds like fun as well. Swashbuckler. Oh, that's what I found. I see. The lurkers in the shadows are here. Oh yeah, I wanted to check out the relics. I want to check this out. So with relics, you can go for funny things like Ass Kicker, the spare boot of Torun. Torun is one of my favorite gods. I really like that guy. I already mentioned it during the last stream, but seriously, this is one of the figures that makes me laugh quite hard. I've heard a lot of people that didn't like the humor of the dev, but I like Zach's humor. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I can laugh quite good about this game. So, if I understood it correctly, relics can be attached to creatures. Is that right? One relic per creature? And we can upgrade them, so let's see. Bearer gains Shelled. After the bearer attacks or casts a single target spell on an enemy, this relic attacks that enemy. Yeah, the jungle god is so fun. I love to donate to him, even though I get no returns for that. I really love to donate for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's also an achievement for donating to Torun. even though you don't get anything. So Blaze Fury will be the relic we're using for the Ifrits. Bloodseeker. Deal damage. It gains current and maximum health equal to damage dealt. After the bearer attacks or casts, this relic also attacks. Bearer is always leeching. Bearer is healed. They each have bonuses every 10 ranks. They can be ranked up indefinitely. Get very expensive though. Sick. Yeah, that's your late game currency drain, I guess. This buffs the mending. Alright, so this Bloodseeker is definitely an option, but not... I think it's not that good for my... Look at Petra and Ace. Ooh, let's check them out. I want to see what you have. At the start of battle, the bearer gains speed. At the start of each enemy's turn, relic attacks. Increases speed. Damage. Bearer is immune to fear. So you seem to run a speed-based combo. Care to share which specialization that you're using that for? Because I'm really curious now. Dusk and Dawn. Bearer attacks or is attacked. Poison. Enemies with poison can't be healed. Always deal damage. Criticals. Poison after an enemy. More poison. Stat increases by 5%. Ooh, we're getting closer to an interesting thing. Poison. Random debuffs in addition to poison. Additional attacks. Usable, but not really synergistic. You actually just have that on one of your creatures. I want to go first. Yeah. I change specs constantly to get the rewards from the goblet. Yeah, I wanted to check that out as well, because I really love the goblet, because it gives you an incentive to use all manner of specializations. I really do like that. Pharaoh. Proficient. I have no clue what proficient does. Let's check that out. Codex. Here. Gains more benefits from their artifacts stat slots other than health. I see. Good in synergy with strong thingies. Okay. Counterattacks. Provokes. After the bearer provokes, all enemies attack it. After the bearer is attacked, this relic attacks. I haven't understood yet how much damage do the relics do. It keeps saying the relic attacks. Does the relic have a connection to the creature's stats, or how do I have to understand that? This confuses me. Somebody care to explain? That would be really kind. After the bearer is attacked while it's provoking. This relic attacks 2 more times. Okay. This could be a really good thing for this combo here. So, Blight, Materium. Bearer can equip Chaos Spell Gems. Ha. Not really. So I wanted to look for some with attack. Oh, blindness. Well, Bearer gains mending. So, like I said, it's really hard to decide on something here. Winter Mall, frozen. So they are all pretty specialized. I actually don't really know what the relic's damage is based on, but you can make them stronger using the enhanced feature of the reliquary. Okay. So I think I'm going to go for Dusk and Dawn here at this point, because I feel like the stat after this relic attacks, it increases the bearer's highest stat by 5% is something I really feel like we can't do. And I do like the enemies with poison can't be healed. The other thing I really did like was the other one there. With the provoke where was it again? Hey, where were you? That relic that triggered the counter attacks when provoking. Here. Hunty and Gigi. The arcane one is Triumvir, page 2. Thanks, No Game No Life. I wanted to check out that one too, I've already forgot. Thank you so much. After the Barry casts a spell. Holy moly. Okay, that's really powerful. This just buffs up all the spells, and after the Barra, and you have a 50% chance to regain Arcane afterwards. And it's just the potency of all the spells is insanely strong, and you get a lot of autocasts. So, well, I'm going to go for Dusk and Dawn and Hunty and Jihi. But, let's see. That is just for farming. Yeah, understandable. That's do I understand it correctly that at rank 40 you basically begin every fight with a snowstorm as soon as the bearer acts? Because when you gain, I mean, at the start of each battle you gain arcane, and if, I mean, that sounds to me like every battle starts with an automatic spell cast, which sounds pretty sick, because that means we could go for really sick things there. Oh, no, I think more closely about it. I really want to have that one. Well, I want each one of them, but that's pretty normal. Okay, so now the hunt for prophecies is on. These relics are at this point useless, but now I know that I want to do these things a little bit more. Gather resources, defeat divination candle enemies. Okay. There we go. Let's dive into another level. Again, Iseros. What's happening? Has somebody hacked my random number generator? Attuned them. Well, is it worth attuning them before they have their rank 10 stat? Or did I miss something? I thought they only do something after rank 10. That's why I didn't do it. Obviously, I'm wrong. Ah, stat boost. Okay. Well, I'm going to do that once I get back to town. Thanks. Yeah, I remember that the top line was saying which kind of stat they boosted. Exactly. Crystal spears. Okay. Okay, but I didn't miss out on something insanely vital here. Okay, going to use this. Sadly, I didn't have any knowledge about priests at this point. Oh, we're silenced. Okay. I need to go to that shrine to attune critters to it, or can I do that on the run? I thought I can only do that at home. Bang. I really like that AoE spell. Apocronux was Bloodgrove. I keep forgetting that I can just cast spells. And it really works out super well. So far, Tribalist is really a lot of fun. And it might take a while to build it up, but I think as soon as you have the necessary resources to build up a team that which you really like, you reach a insane power level at some point. Because I feel like these Diabolic Hordes, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they will carry me a pretty long way down the road. This looks that strong that I might be even turning it off because it starts to bore me out to progress that easily. Because honestly, right now, they don't really stop me. Kind of awesome how everyone looks at things differently, because I've spent like 5% of the time only attacking. Well, most of my formations I've built were totally focused around attacking because I felt like it was the simplest approach to get something going. But I really tend to... I really like auto-attack based builds in general. Like, with action RPGs, I tend to go for auto-attack based builds a lot, and this is some kind of playstyle of mine, definitely, Carnifex, definitely. But yeah, the longer I play, the more different approaches I want to unify, because this makes things really strong, I think. But at this point, we're just annihilating them. Cool, really, really cool. I like that. Didn't expect the Tribalist to be that insanely strong when I started it out today. Or, well, the Diabolic Hordes much more seem to be insanely strong. But overall, Carnifex, I feel like this game has a way of playing for literally everybody. It's, I really respect the dev of that game for this achievement so much, that this game really offers a playstyle for everybody. I've seen only a couple of the specialists, what are good melee classes. Well, the only one that really catched my eye, which I tried out, is the Infernal Knight, or Hell Knight. Hell Knight it is. Hell Knight amplifies attacks on the units in an insane way. You get automatic crits, you get automatic AoE splash, like when you attack one unit, you attack all units, always. And look at that! The Diabolic Horde Master is back. Now let's, I get a rematch. I really thought I'd have to wait literally for ages now, but it looks like I get another turn. So I want to know what happens if the Diabolic Commander dies. And also, are planets strong here? I don't know. We're going to try. Definitely does something here. I'm really, really happy to have a rematch with these guys. I'll just spam my AoEs for now. No, I didn't want to defend, dang. Let's see. I can't imagine that they lose their stats only because they're the one guy providing them is dying. I don't think that these units work like that, but I also realize these guys are already a lot stronger than my priests were. Oh, I've lost the first of my hordes. And the resurrection did trigger again. So unlucky with the resurrections there. So let's see. Ah, there we go. Resurrection triggered. They are provoking again. This is looking quite similar to the last time, where the middle guy was almost dead. Ah, there goes the resurrect. Bam. Love it. Die. Almost got him. So let's see, did their stats change? I highly doubt it. They still seem to have those insane HP numbers. Yeah. But I still have a few planets charges on that guy. Oh yeah. There goes another lucky resurrect, so... Playing Evoker, so many things to try out. This game's like a mash of every RPGs I ever loved. Yeah, that's true. I really feel like there has been an insane increase of quality as well between Siralim 3 and Siralim Ultimate. Oh man, this is such a nasty bunch, gotta say. I really feel like I need to work harder on my sustained skills to beat those guys. But there's again the one-shot problematic. This is a sick combo. I just get outstatted here, that's the problem. Okay. I love this about this game. Whenever I feel overpowered and then something shows up and shows me that I was wrong, I still have to do a lot. Never heard of the series before, a couple of days, crazy. No, Ceaseless, my artifacts are all bad. I really shied away from transforming my currency into brimstone yet, because I feel like the transformation ratios are so bad. 3-to-1 sounds so unfair, but yeah, you know. So, I really... I've got no problems with anything except for the Diabolic Horde Master, but the chances aren't that high of meeting that guy every time, so let's see. Let's check this out. Let's try that again. I'm not sure if my combo is actually that well suited to beat the Diabolic Horde combo like that. Eternity's End Floor. Cool. I got that slight feeling that it would be smarter to topple that formation not with the same poison, you know? But what do I know? This was definitely a little bit of a sad story, but at least now I know that I won't be able to just shut them down by destroying one particular unit. But I felt like AoEs worked quite well. I mean, wait a sec, Ceaseless. I'm going to show you the relics I use right now. So these are, I mean, they aren't that bad. Tier 40 is my highest, but they are also very generalistic. I have created them to beat the main story, and after that, I haven't really touched my artifacts ever since. That's pretty much the bottom line. And therefore they aren't... I'm really, really unhappy with the stuff I have there. So my plan was to save up on Brimstone now to actually craft some good stuff. Some specialized stuff, something I want to play deeper. Djinns are powerful spellcasters who capitalize on casting multiple spells in quick succession. If you are unable to put a stop to them in time, they'll soon overwhelm your efforts and annihilate your creatures where they stand. Okay. You see, there is a slight difference in difficulty between these masters. There is a slight difference. Sigil of the Djinn. Your Djinn's spells always deal critical damage at that point. Oh, wow. I love the master traits. These master traits are so cool, I gotta say. Like, auto crit and 40% more potency. That's a lot. You'll get big power spikes when you fuse your creatures and add traits to all your artifacts. True that, true that. I wanted to start this combo out, and I don't know if I really want to deepen them that much because, well, their treasure golem. So here goes the story. The treasure golem was one of the cuddliest and cutest monsters in Siralim 3, and it was a running gag in the game that every time you killed one of the treasure golems, your character was feeling some guilty conscience about that. And this is now the return of the treasure golem. He's empowered by Tarun and sentences us to a painful and horrible death because he's now absolutely mad about all the years of punishment and mistreatment. I love it. Your creatures always have Tarun Jr. Okay. Tarun Jr. Oh man, I love this game. I can't put it into different words, but I love this game. Your creatures always have Tarun Jr. This is also an extra hard fight, by the way. Tarun Jr. really messes up my... We deserve that. We deserve that. That was a very unexpected confrontation. I love that. There's a certain reason why I like this game so much. I think I must have forgotten to turn off the configuration to that realm. Because it... oh yeah! Yeah, you wanna hide behind... I had to give up the fight because of that perma-invis guy. Felt really vindicating to toss the planets on him. I actually prepared that spell because of that critter. Okay, so gotta say, since every unit on the enemy squad fires this insanely strong Tarun Jr. buff whenever they act, I feel like the easiest way to kill that would be a formation which tries to hinder the enemies to act at all. Because that's just brutally strong. This was possibly the hardest fight I've encountered in this game so far. Pitworm Master. Okay. So you can kind of like farm these masters by actively farming the master and not killing the nether boss. Is that intentional? Because honestly, it does seem not right. Pitworms are massive creatures that possess an unbelievable amount of strength. They use their giant bodies to smash their opponents into jelly before eating their corpses whole. Think you can stand up to the might of my pitworm army? Oh man. So let's check out pitworms. Okay. They are based around triggers. Okay. I used one of these worms traits in my druid combo, but I feel like that's not really difficult here at all. Sigil of the Pitworm. If all the creatures are pitworms, their innate traits activate an additional time. Yeah, that sounds familiar. So, I think I'm going to keep this formation in the future if I really want to. If I really want to progress really hard. But if I just want to have fun with the game, I think this is boring out quite quickly. Ooh, your creatures recover health from burning instead of taking damage. That's a nice trait. Goes for my Pyromancer. Definitely will go quite well for my Pyromancer. Alright. Wow. I love it how you can clear this area with ease and still run into things that just smack you to the ground and show you that you are still dealing with rookie numbers, and still there are a lot of things that just instantly take you down because you're not that far as you think you are. So really, I didn't expect to be Siralim Ultimate that good compared to the third part. I was like, yeah, well, let's give it another try. But more and more positively surprised. Definitely deserves a lot more attention than it has before. And it was already before that a pretty decent game. Well, the Resurrects go again. Talking about decent games, I'm going to switch over to Loop Hero in a couple of minutes. I want to take down the Nether boss, and then let's see. So who's resurrecting here? Magnificus Sanctus. You! Shut up. You're annoying. So I really want to try if I'm able to beat Chapter 3 of Loop Hero tonight. Because I got stuck quite hard on Siralim, but I want to do this as well. Oh, come on. Scorned. The generous trait is really strong. I feel like if I would be using a... Ooh, more decoration. If I would be using a spellcaster formation, it sounds like a pretty decent choice to never run out of charges truly, because these spells are for free. And with enough generosity going around, you always start the battle with enough virtual spell charges that you won't ever run out of spells. It's really interesting. Interesting concept. Oh, and overall, please feel free to tell me if you want to see a certain specialization in action, or wanted to be explained or work. I really would like to work through stuff with you together, which is bothering you or which you are interested at, because I really like to follow these things. So. All right. Oh yeah, there's the nether guy. Nether boss? Yeah, okay, let's check it out. Ceaseless Gladiator. Let's check him out. After this creature takes damage it gains shelled, this creature intercepts all damage dealt to its allies. Well, okay. Oh, we're scorned. Yeah, he's tanking the planets. Doesn't look like it's going well for him. He shouldn't have tanked for his allies. They are actually tanking it better than him. Alright. Bam. Yeah. That's quite quick end to this situation here. These scorns are pretty annoying though. No, I didn't want to defend. Oh man, it's annoying. Oh, confusion. Okay. Nether boss fights are always a lot harder. So why is everything prevented? Oh, we can't damage it with attacks. God, what an annoying bugger. Well, luckily enough I got enough spell costs. That plus the guy that makes allies unable to go below 5% though. Okay, but I got it. Nice. Crazed Pimple. After an enemy dies, this creature casts Corpse Explosion. Oh! That's the Crazed Lepus trade. I used that. That was basically the trade I was clearing the base game with. That's fun that this comes back here. So this is so strong. I just used creatures that add debuffs to no end automatically, and just buffed this creature's intelligence, and GG. That's all I did. And it carried me basically through the whole game. I just had to adapt my strategy at the last boss a little bit, and work around his attacks and his behavior a little bit more. I literally only had to tinker around the moment I hit the last boss of the story. Yeah. Alright, so let's... what would I want to check out when I went home? Yeah, here. The new nether thingy, Ceaseless Spit. When an enemy takes damage from burning, it has a 50% chance to take this damage a second time. This effect can repeat multiple times in a row. Remember the Bernie burns? So no life, no game. If you're still around, we're gonna do this. The plot thickens. The plot thickens. I just haven't unlocked the pyro yet, but we're getting closer. This will be so insane. I've already got so many pieces that work around burning. That'll be fun. But it's going to... This is enough Siralim for today, so I'm going to be back in like 5 to 10 minutes with some Loop Hero. I'd be happy to see you guys around, but if you don't want to join, I don't mind. Feel free to follow the channel. I stream basically every day during the week. I try to stream every day during the weekends now as well. And thank you so much for the company. It was a nice evening. I have to drop. Aw, too bad, Cognito, but have a nice night, and I'm happy you have been around. So let's do some casual knockout stream afterwards, and see you guys soon, I hope. Bye bye, or see you in a minute.